All right, and welcome to episode 20 of What is Hitman Roulette. Today, we're going to be talking about Ambrose Island. We're here, everybody. We got it. The new map in the trilogy is finally out. It just debuted on July 26th of 2022, and we've had a little bit of time to crank some strats out between now and then, and I think it's time to share them with the community, since I know that the vast majority of the community is still somewhat unaware of how this map actually works for roulette. So, really excited to be sharing these strats with everybody today. This is going to be a really fun video. I really enjoy this map. Ambrose Island is definitely an extremely welcome addition. I cannot believe how great it actually turned out to be, considering the map was free. We didn't even have to pay for this downloadable DLC content. This shit just dropped into our mailbox on day one of its release, and it was free of charge. I could not believe it when they released that information, but hey, IO Interactive, you guys are the tits. I'm just gonna say that once, even though I've said that a million times already. One more time, ain't gonna hurt anybody. IO Interactive, best game developer of all time. I will say that here first. So super thankful to them, and what a great map we've got here. The targets give you plenty of options for deciphering which way the best course of action would be from spin to spin. When it comes to the disguises, there aren't actually that many disguises on this map, but there's still enough to get roulette going and make it interesting, so really happy to see that. And the lack of disguises on this map really doesn't hinder it at all, because there's so much other things to worry about. It's basically the Sapienza of melee weapons, when Sapienza's got free disguises galore, disguises for days. This map has pretty much the opposite, but in terms of melee items. Melee items on this map are abundant. There's tons of them. There are more melee items for kills in this map than any other map in the franchise, or at least the trilogy. And that says a lot about the diversity in strats that we'll end up using for roulette spins right there. So really happy about that. The atmosphere on this map, how it makes you feel when you initially drop into it, is really similar to, for me, how it made me feel when I dropped into Santa Fortuna for the first time, or Berlin for the first time. Those are definitely positive aspects in my mind. It shares a lot in common with Haven Island in the regard that it's an island, and it's set on an island. There is water surrounding the island, obviously, because it's a fucking island. But it takes place at nighttime, and you know me, I'm a nighttime kind of guy. I prefer maps that take place at night, and this map is a fantastic inclusion in that regard to the nighttime maps in Hitman 3. There are 4 maps that take place at night in Hitman 3 altogether. You got this one, Berlin, Chongqing, and of course Carpathian Mountains, but we're not going to count that one or regard that one with anything, because it's just not a good map for roulette, and we're here to talk about roulette. So of the 3 maps in Hitman 3 that are nighttime, those maps are fantastic, incredible maps. Ambrose Island is no exception. It's definitely awesome that we have something else to look forward to at the end of the trilogy run. Like, this is the final map in the trilogy, even though, fun fact, it actually takes place in the lore between Whittleton Creek and Isle of Scale. Those 2 maps, there's a bit of a gap in between there where Ambrose Island fills in that gap. We didn't know that gap was there, at least I didn't, because I'm not really a lore guy when it comes to this game. But there was a gap there of information, and we got it filled in with this map. So, awesome addition in the story as well. However, when it comes to roulette play and trilogy runs, Sasso speed runs, etc. and so forth, Ambrose Island does show up at the final destination of the game, so we'll be playing this one after Mendoza and after Carpathian Mountains, which means Mendoza, that stinky pile of shit, is no longer the last map in the trilogy, and when we do a full trilogy run of roulette spins, we get to look forward to something awesome at the beginning of the game with Paris, and finally at the end of the game with Ambrose Island. So full trilogy runs are actually awesome now. I don't stop at China like I always used to do. I kind of want to keep going, because, yeah, I can get through Mendoza, it's fine. I got that light at the end of the tunnel now with Ambrose Island, because this map is sick. Really love this one. Super happy it was free. That's just a freaking kick on the icing situation. And, man, what a great job they did. And I'm really surprised with the lack of bugs. There are definitely some bugs that still need to be worked out. It's a brand new map. You know, IO Interactive did the best they could for releasing a map that was free of charge. That was just kind of like thrown at us out of the blue. We didn't even know we were getting another map until January of this year. So really interesting that it turned out to be as good as it is. There's actually so few bugs in the map that are available and so easily discoverable from day one that I don't really see too many people pointing bugs out yet. And I've watched a couple of people's videos on this map. Nothing too crazy, just a few speed runs here and there. And so far, everything seems to be pretty tight. So solid job, IO Interactive. Again, I'm singing their praises with this one again because you didn't charge us a dime for it, and it turned out to be fantastic, and there's hardly any bugs. So, damn, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. I guess if you were to say some negative aspects about the map, they did reuse a few disguises from past maps, like the hippie and the metalworker, and et cetera and so forth. But they gave us a couple of new ones. They gave us the engineer, which is a brand new disguise to the trilogy. So it's a pretty cool looking disguise, nothing too special. Just kind of coveralls with a hard hat, not a big deal, but it's still interesting to see something new. And they gave us one of the most badass disguises in the whole trilogy with pirate. I mean, it's got fucking pirate in the map. It's a freaking pirate mission. This is so sick. I mean, who doesn't like pirates? I used to read about those fucking guys when I was like just a wee tot reading about Peter Pan and shit. I wanted to be Captain Hook, you know? He was the tits. I did for a small period of time in my life anyways, you know. It was a good time back then. But, you know, fucking pirate stuff. Even the suit on the map. Yes, this map does come with a suit. We'll talk more about that later. Is you get to dress up as a buccaneer, which is basically a pirate. So it's super sick. You do have a side objective for this map besides the 2 targets that it comes with. So it's like a 2.5 target situation, almost. It's very reminiscent to Sapienza, but the satellite is a little bit more interesting to deal with, and if you don't deal with it in one of the cheap ways, which I will discuss later, it's actually pretty tricky sometimes to deal with. Because of where it's located and the fact that there's an exit nearby right there, and you're tempted to take that exit, but it's actually pretty difficult to get the keys to that exit, just because there's so many guard NPCs in the area that are going to be freaking out once the satellite goes down, so it is tricky to get out of there, so, you know, just take the exit nearby and away you go. It's not that big a deal, but the satellite is pretty cool. There's a couple of little interesting techniques to tackle that thing. So all in all, fantastic map, great addition, somewhere in between a big map with 2 targets and a big 5 map. We don't use a large portion of the map to do roulette spins in this mission, but it's still a lot of fun for the portions that we do use. Traversing the map is always a blast, and because of the amount of melee items you're going to be having to look for, you will end up running around quite a bit depending on what you're doing from spin to spin, so you're going to need to know the gist of how to get around in this map, but man, running around in this map is a blast. Ambrose Island feels great, plays great, and is just a great addition to the trilogy. So, from here on, we're going to be discussing the target isolations and the starting locations, starting with the starting locations right now. And here we go. So starting with the shrine start, it's definitely a very viable starting position. You can easily get into the compound from here and get Akka isolated right off the bat. Or you can set up a kill for her with falling object or electrocution, you know, that stuff pretty quickly. There's a crowbar nearby in the compound to get into her little area there where her office hut is. It's pretty solid as far as starting positions go, and when it comes to the suit spins, even though there is a suit on the map, it's really not that viable to go get that thing a lot of the time. Most of the time you're going to be going for just your own suit when it comes to the suit kills. So when it comes to suit spins, I would say Shrine is one of the best, if not the best, suit starting location on the map. The social hub is fantastic. You got free cook disguise in the area. You got a metalworker disguise right nearby that you can get. Stash points are right there. You can isolate Noel Crest quite easily to get him for drown kills or live kills or even a fire kill from this area. Electrocution kill for Noel Crest can be set up super easy from this area. So social hub, one of the best starting spots in the map. It really depends on the spin between this spot and Shrine. They're both so neck and neck, I can't really pick which one's better. It is definitely spin dependent, and you should definitely play around with both, as they're both phenomenal starts. Metalworker is a fantastic starting spot. Holy shit. I'm going to tell you all about this starting spot a little bit later in the video, but it's definitely viable for a vast majority of spins, and it is definitely one of the best, if not, I'm going to go ahead and say this is the best starting spot in the map. If you don't see suit in the spin, and hell, even sometimes if you do see suit in the spin, you still might want to opt to go with Metalworker start because it is that strong. You can set up so many things. You can deal with Akka and the satellite before you even have to worry about Crest. You can even go grab a suit from the Buccaneer area over there that I'll explain a little bit later. and still deal with Crest in more than enough time to escape the map with a sub 4, sub 3 in some cases time. Fantastic start, metalworker all the way. Starting Cook can be really handy sometimes because you're going to want to just deal with the satellite right away and then maybe go set up Akka for something. You can get a pretty tricky long-range kill. It depends on what the kill happens to be. If you're on console, good luck with this one, but if you're on PC, you're pretty much in luck. If the kill happens to be Cook, Akka, pistol, or Cook, Akka, something like that, you're going to be able to knock out the satellite and Akka within the first 30 seconds to a minute of starting on this spot. So it is a fantastic starting spot. There's a lot that goes into the strategy of this starting spot, but it's definitely worth learning, and it's a lot stronger than I think we even know at this point because this map is so brand new to the community. Still so much to learn. I bet you Cook is going to end up being some kind of powerhouse start in the future, for sure. I can just feel it. As far as the starting spots you're probably never going to use in a roulette spin, the default location is by far the shittiest starting spot in the map. There really isn't a whole lot of use for it. Yeah, there's a stash point right nearby, and yeah, there is a Cook smoking off to the side in the starting position, but it's just not really all that viable. There's some fiber wire in the hut right next to you if you were to start default. So I guess if you have a fiber wire kill and you don't want to bring fiber wire, maybe that's viable, but honestly, there's no reason to start default besides your first couple of endeavors into the map. And Stilt Village, the same can really be said about that starting position. That starting position is a little better than default. You can set up Knoll for a quick electrocution kill. If the spin happens to be suit, electrocution, Knoll, then maybe Stilt Village wouldn't be such a bad idea because you can set the electrocution kill right up right away. I did have a suit, electrocution, Knoll, Starfish, Akka engineer the other day, and it was definitely a lot better to start Stilt Village here because you set up the electrocution right away for free. You grab the Starfish that's right under the dock right beside you when you start Stilt Village, and you head on over to Akka. So it's really not all terrible as far as the starting positions go in this map, but this one's definitely going to be used next to the default position, probably the least. Moving on to the target isolations, we're going to start with Noel Crest. For this first isolation, you're going to want to get him sick real quick by starting in Social Hub and moving into the bushes over here. Once Crest is sick, you got more than enough time to get some shit together, maybe some melee items, and then head over to your stash if you're going to stash stuff in Farah's area. Grab your stuff and head over to Noel as he's going to be puking in a porta potty here. Super easy little area to get a free drown kill, a live kill, whatever you want to do. You can also get pretty much any disguise in the amount of time you need before Noel stops puking to get any kill you need on Noel in this area. But I don't recommend leaving him here. If you were to KO him, his guards are definitely going to find him, so make sure you KO his guards as I'm doing on screen right here if you're going to leave him here. Or if you need a malicious soldier disguise for the Noel kill, these are definitely viable NPCs to get for that disguise. But really, it's just get him sick, follow him over here, and either kill him here or knock him out once you've dealt with his guards. He should be fine here, although there are wandering NPCs and the map is still new. So don't quote me on that, but I have left him here for an extended period of time in the past, and he has not been found as long as I do KO his guards. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to KO his guards if you're going to get him with a drown kill or an injected poison or something like that. Even if Fiberwire, there is a box right beside him, so if you get him with a live kill with Fiberwire, you can just dump him in the box right after that. Just be careful of the peeking Cook right above you. There is a small crack in the wall right in front of the box where you would dump his body. And there is a Cook that's just above you that can see through that wall, that crack in the wall there, and spot you dumping the body. So you can get ripped doing that. So just be careful with this isolation. It's not the best one, but it definitely is viable for a number of spins. The next Noel Crest isolation I'm going to talk about is getting him sick when he's going over to the cook by the little restaurant area to have a conversation with him and to have a little cigarette break. This is a strat brought forth by Z-Rune, so big credit to you, buddy boy. Thanks for this one. This is a great help for the Noel Crest fall kill. Fall is probably the only kill where I would do this strat for Noel Crest to isolate him, but it's definitely a fantastic isolation that's worth knowing. At around the 1:15 mark, Noel is going to head over to the cook over here and have a conversation with him, and you have a limited amount of time between him having a conversation with the cook and having a cigarette before he starts walking off. Keep in mind that Noel Crest does actually start walking off after the cook conversation and cigarette just before the 2-minute mark if you're far enough away that you didn't proxy trigger any conversations, so that's important to note. As soon as he starts moving, he's pretty much in the wind and you won't be able to isolate him with a seeker shot over to the pier that you're going to need to isolate him on in order to get the fall kill to work properly. If he goes to a different pier than the one that I'm showcasing on screen here, then you're definitely going to be struggling to get this fall kill to work properly, because you're just going to have way too many NPCs in your way. Take the secret shot from just under the pier here, get Noel sick, and follow him under the dock like I'm showing here. And you can just knock him off the dock right here with a push animation as soon as his guards completely stop moving in their animations. Once Crest's guards are completely done moving, then you're free to kick Crest off the dock. However, I did showcase how to get rid of the guards here if you want to be a little more careful with this kill, because you do have a fairly decent chance of getting ripped due to an extended illegal action with kicking Crest off the dock. If one was to turn around a little quicker than normal, then you might be screwed. So just remember, when KOing these guards, you can KO the first one closest to you free of charge, but the second guy needs to be lured with a throw distraction a little bit closer to where you KO'd the first guard. Otherwise, you can be ripped by NPCs on the beach with annoying ass view cones. But that's that for the kill. Again, I don't recommend really any kill except for fall here, not even loud ballistics, not even really anything besides fall, and maybe obviously free live kills if you want to do them here. But fall is the only one recommended just because it's the only spot that you can get a fall kill on Noel Crest, unless you want to lure him up to the bridge or you want to drag him off to a different dock or something like that. This is the easiest fall kill, I should say, for Noel Crest, so it's definitely recommended, and no other kill is really necessary for this isolation. The next isolation is a hut isolation for Noel Crest, and it's a really cool little ISO spot that I found tinkering around in this map the first time I played it while observing the target cycles. You're going to need a durian here, so make sure you grab one from the food storage area, or if you started Shrine, then you can grab one by shooting one down from the tree right above you starting Shrine. It's really up to you which one you grab. Just make sure you have a durian for the strat, as it makes it a freaking cakewalk, and it's free. At around the 3:45 mark, Noel is going to be walking past the hut that you need to isolate him in. So you're going to need to deal with his two guards before that timestamp. So make sure you walk up to his two guards while he's just passing the boat that you could use for an easy falling object kill for Noel Crest. We can talk about falling object kills maybe another time, but he walks under the boat at around 3:15, and he's going to be at the hut at around 3:45. So in between that area, you're going to need to drop the durian in front of his two guards. That's going to make them walk off and get sick. And then you can throw something into this hut here, and because Crest has guard AI, he will actually inspect the throw himself before any other NPCs do in this area. So that's super convenient. It's a really good way to manipulate that little aspect of this target. Get him in this little hut and KO him in here and get the kill. You can box him right away and get the hell out of here. I do not recommend leaving him in here, because as soon as his guards are healthy again, they'll come in and rip you, seeing his body on the ground. So just make sure, if you're going to leave him in here, either deal with his guards or just get the kill when they're sick and box him, and away you go. There really is no reason you shouldn't be able to get the kill in here, because 3:45 is more than enough time to get everything else dealt with, including the satellite, Akka, and whatever disguise or melee item that you would need for the Noel Crest kill before you exit the map. The next isolation is for an easy fire kill, or you could just leave his body in this little area I'm about to show here. But basically, you start Social Hub, and you're going to move around these shipping containers here and into the spot where this fire barrel is here. Once Noel stops his conversation with the guard, he's going to head over to your direction, and as soon as he's about to pass you, throw your briefcase or whatever item you may have on you at the wall in front of the shipping container right in front of you here, right beside the fire barrel. That'll grab Noel's attention. He's going to start hanging your way, and as soon as he takes about 2 steps, you're going to shoot the fire barrel and set up the kill. For some reason, if I wait too long with this shot, I lure a different NPC than Noel Crest, so I don't know what the deal is with this shit, but the NPC AI in this area specifically by the social hub is really finicky, and they behave like shit. Like, I've done throwing distractions for whatever NPC I was trying to lure at the time, right in front of a bunch of guards, and a cook from upstairs heard the distraction and came down and checked it out. Meanwhile, there's like 10 guards right in front of me, and none of them even got question marks above their heads. So just, I don't know, just bear with the map for a little bit here. I guess that might be a day 1 release bug. Who knows? They might fix it in the future. But for the meantime, the AI is finicky here, so shoot the barrel after he takes 2 steps. He'll walk himself into the pool of oil, and then you can shoot the barrel again, kill him that way. Or you can just delay his guards a little bit, and then shoot the barrel again free of charge while Noel's standing in the puddle of oil before his guards even turn the corner and see you take the shot. So, decent little isolation spot, but the only kill I would recommend for this one is the fire kill. And the last isolation I'm going to talk about for Noel Crest is the light lure. You're going to need to get into Akka's compound, so definitely you're going to want to KO and isolate Akka before you do this lure for Noel Crest. So I will talk about Akka right after this isolation here for Noel. How this works is once you've dealt with Akka and you're in her compound area by her office hut, there's going to be a ladder right near you that goes up to the top of this tower here. Get up to the top of the tower and flick the light on. Once you've done that, jump down to the very bottom of the tower again and head into the area where Noel, Crest, and Akka are supposed to have their meeting. Once you're down in the area where they go and have the meeting, jump through this window here and stay crouched because you're going to auto-peekaboo this pirate right behind you. As soon as you do that, you can either choose to hide behind the door where he's going to be coming through and KO him as soon as he gets through the door, or you can just do what I'm doing here and be a little idiot and go through the door on your left, past this pirate here, close the door behind the pirate that you peekabooed, KO this guy with a frontal KO as long as you're crouching. The pirate to your right is going to hear the noise, so make sure you bump into him to distract him and make sure he loses his question mark. Hide the body of the pirate he just KO'd inside, grab his gun, and just wait in here for Noel Crest. Very viable isolation spot for Noel Crest, especially deep into the map. This is easily the best area you can do for consumed poison Noel Crest. Definitely loud ballistics or loud explosive weapon Noel Crest. This is by far the best option you're going to have, just because if you isolate Noel Crest in here, his body will not be found by anybody. There's a container here you can box him in, and once you've got the kill, if you do a loud ballistic, like loud shotgun, loud sniper rifle, etc. And for loud explosive weapon, you can just detonate and exit the map right away and you're good to go. So fantastic spot for all three of those kills, or a late live kill or anything like that. If you don't know Noel Crest's cycles at all, and you don't feel like learning them, but you still want to win in a roulette match, then just do this lure and get whatever kill you want on him. Anything in here will work, except for fall. Moving on to the Akka isolations. Akka is a pretty awesome target. She has a very small cycle, so there's not a whole lot to worry about when it comes to her. And there are lures that you can do to put her on a leash, just like how the light lure works for Crest. Although you'll probably never use the light lure for Akka. You can, but you have to take out Crest first, and normally that's not the most viable option because what's the point? Just because of the fact that you're going to be going into Akka's compound to trigger the light lure anyways, so you might as well get her while you're in the compound. So light lure is really just reserved for Crest, for later kills, or for specific kills like I already mentioned. Whereas with Akka, when you get into her compound from the shrine start, say you do panic distraction shots for the guards up ahead, you head straight through the area, grab the crowbar on the right, going through the hut that I just showcased here, and then you're going to head into her compound right by her office hut. You're going to pass through the room that has Agent Smith in there. Yeah, you guessed it, he's back in this mission, which is pretty cool. Nice throwback to the old school Hitman days. And Agent Smith is going to be talking your ear off in this room, so you can't really miss him. There's this pirate right in front of you. You're going to KO him. Make sure that you avoid the metalworker spotting you to your right. So if you're not sure of where he's looking, use your instinct and make sure that he's looking over in the other direction before you KO the pirate right in front of you. Also, there's a wandering pirate to your left, so make sure you avoid him as well. Drag this pirate into the room behind you where Smith is, and you can change disguises if you need to or not. It's up to you. There's also a camera box right in front of you in this area, so remember to always shoot that out if you've got spotted on cameras and whatnot. But from here, you're going to need a trank. I definitely recommend bringing a trank for this strat, as it is pretty tricky otherwise. And you're going to run up to where Akka is having her meeting with the two pirates inside of her office. Run up the stairs and peek behind the window here and trank the pirate on the left side, on your left. The pirate on the right is going to wonder what the fuck's going on, so go through the door, close the door behind you, and KO the pirate that you have not tranked. Then immediately KO Akka before she starts screaming her head off. Keep in mind that the window is open. There is no door for this window. There are no anything. There's no glass pane or any of that stuff, so the pirate that's just chilling outside, that will be an enforcer for you if you're dressed as a pirate, will be able to hear you if you make noise and if you make Akka scream too loud. So just make sure that you KO her right away and he won't hear a damn thing. This is a great isolation spot to keep Akka in permanently. Nobody finds her in this area. You can also box the pirate that you didn't trank, and then once you get the kill on Akka, you can choose to box her as well if need be. This is a great spot for loud ballistics, as you can just shoot her and box her right away. And when you do melee kills in here, there's about a 50-50 chance that the pirate outside that you left alive is going to hear the melee item enter her head. So just be aware of that. Make sure that you throw something into her head when she's close to the box so you have enough time to drag her and box her before the guard comes in the room. Fantastic little isolation spot. I found this pretty much on day one that the map came out, and I've been using it ever since for very specific spins. It's viable for a large majority of spins. You'd be very surprised. And there you go. The next isolation for Akka is very simple. It just requires a secret dart, and all you have to do is just get her sick right after around the 2-minute mark when she's on the phone call with whoever it is she's talking to. Simple as that. She's going to head over to the outhouse nearby, and you can follow her over there. Just avoid her guard. I like to get her sick in the compound area so that I can just go straight into the outhouse and deal with her guard pretty much immediately. All you have to do for that is just a quick corner subdue. No big deal. Just make sure that you do a bullet distraction for the guard straight ahead, for the pirate that's just in front of the compound gate there. Do a bullet distraction to get him out of the way, because he can rip you for corner subduing the pirate that's in front of Akka that's guarding her while she's puking. So just deal with him with a bullet distraction. Just corner subdue this pirate here, and you're free to go with pretty much any kill on Akka. Drowning, fiber wire, whatever. Explosive weapon, pistol, doesn't matter. Injected poison, all those kills are more than viable for this one. This is definitely the best way to get her for drowning kill, obviously. But there you go. Get her sick in the area just after the 2-minute mark. Done. The next isolation is an amazing little strat developed by Moo, and I like to call this the Pika-Moo. It's where you start as Metalworker, which is a good reason as to why this start is so fucking good and so powerful. All you have to do here is start Metalworker and head into the compound. You're going to want to either bring a crowbar with you or a lockpick, but if you don't have a melee item with you, make sure you grab the wrench on the table to your side when you start Metalworker. Go through the compound doors like you normally would, and as soon as Akka comes out of the security box room, you're going to peekaboo her right away before she gets on the stairs. Make sure you do a gun aim at her head there so she peekaboos quite a bit faster, and the whoosh meter goes up a lot quicker. Wait for her and her pirate guard to walk around the corner and investigate the peekaboo. Immediately KO the pirate that's behind her, and then KO her immediately after. There is nothing more to this strat. It's pretty amazing. You can get almost any kill doing this strat, except for obviously fall or drowning, but you can definitely get the majority of other kills doing this. Even loud explosive weapon is viable for this strat, because you can just plant a bomb right here and detonate it on exit, and away you go. Lots of time to worry about the rest of the map. After you do this too, you can even set up the bomb delivery for the satellite, which we will talk about in a little bit here. So fantastic strat. Big huge thank you to our brother Moo for developing this one and showing it to the community first. So love you, brother. Awesome strat. And the final isolation for Akka that I'm going to discuss involves the Smith lure at either 4 minutes, or you could put her on a leash with this one as well by freeing Smith. Though I don't think that one's nearly as good for standard kills for isolating Akka at 4 minutes. If you isolate Akka in this room at around the 4-minute mark or just after, she even stays in here for just over a minute talking to Smith, so you got lots of time to worry about isolating her when she gets here. But the reason freeing Smith isn't as viable is because she gets a bunch of pirate guards to come in the room, and where they come from can really complicate things. So everybody's on alert because the prisoners have escaped and all this stuff, so it can make things a little bit messy. The only time I would really want to free Smith and make this isolation viable for any kill that way is probably just electrocution, because there is no other option for Akka electrocution except if you are to free Smith, turn on the water by hitting the little wheel there in the corner there in this room and dropping a taser, or staying in the room while she's in there and triggering the car battery. So that's up to you. But you can just isolate her in here without freeing Smith at around the 4-minute mark, as I'm doing here. Just KO her guard and KO Akka, or get a free live kill on her pretty much right away. And that's all there is to it. So great spot for, like I said, electrocution, late live kills. If you've dealt with Crest right away, say you started Social Hub, got a kill on Crest, then you wanted to set up the bomb delivery, which again, like I said, we'll talk about that in 2 seconds. And then you want to get a kill on Akka. This is definitely a viable option. So, very good to know. And now on to these satellites. There's multiple options for the satellite. You can just choose to blow it up with a Molotov just in the caves, like a lot of people do. Pretty easy way to do that. Not that hard. Don't have to really explain anything there. If you start Cook, you can just head around to the side of where you start Cook, go through the little tunnel entrance here right behind this malicious soldier. So I would say trank him first, get past him, and drop a bomb right on top of the satellite. Boom, away you go. And then if you're really good, or if you're on PC with sick frickin' mouse and keyboard aim, then you should be able to get a pretty fast Cook pistol kill on Akka if you're an amazing shot. So that also works there too. I saw Frody do that in one of his videos recently, so very sick to be able to do a quick Akka kill and get rid of the satellite in one fell swoop, starting cook. But the interesting thing that we're going to talk about here for the satellite is the bomb delivery strat developed by Agent 420, really good buddy of ours in the community, good buddy of mine, awesome fucking guy, and a genius Hitman player who comes up with crazy shit like this all the time. So not surprised that he found this, but pretty much day one he found this strat where if you leave a serpent's bite or a C4 or some kind of bomb with a massive radius of explosion over in this area by the cave, you need to drop it in this very specific spot past these two boats as close to the cave as you can get. One of the two wandering pirates on the beach over here is going to pick the bomb up and bring it to the weapon box in the cave. The reason you need to drop it specifically in this area is because if you drop it further away from the cave, then they will bring it to the weapon box in the village, and that's not going to work for anything. So the weapon box is right beside the satellite, so if you detonate the bomb in the weapon box, once the pirate drops it off in there, it will blow up the satellite. So you're basically just getting two birds stoned at once. You drop the bomb and away you go. You don't even have to think about the satellite anymore for the rest of the map. It's great. So bomb delivery strat from Agent 420, fantastic. Keep in mind that the pirates do have a 2.5 minute cycle up and down the beach, so they will be by the caves around the 1:30 mark, around the 4-minute mark, again around the 6:30 mark, etc. and so forth. So that is very consistent. Just make sure you either plant the bomb at the 1:20 mark or something so that the pirate can see the thing, and away you go dealing with Akka and Crest. But there you go. Thanks again, 420, brother. Awesome fucking strat. Love seeing so many members of the community come together and develop strats for this map so early into its release. And one more tiny little detail I wanted to mention real quick before moving on to the disguises. There's a really fun strat here if you bring an RFID explosive. David Red Sox actually found this. I believe it was him that found this first. And if you were to say start shrine and take the coin that comes with the RFID explosive and toss it onto the bridge, there's the wandering malicious soldier onto the bridge that will pick the coin up and stuff it in his pocket. At that point, anytime during the map, once you've finished all the objectives, you can exit from literally any point on the map thanks to the GPS tracker that you get as soon as you start the mission. It's a pretty amazing little handy trick, as long as you have the explosive in your inventory. I'm not sure if you need the explosive in your inventory or if you just need to have the coin thrown onto the bridge, but I keep the explosive in the inventory anyways, just in case. And you can exit it at any time. It's so fucking sick. Really cool little strat. Thanks, David Red Sox, for spotting this, bro. This will be a really handy exit for many players in the community, and it's definitely handy to know for roulettes specifically. So, there you go. Alright, and moving on to the disguises. We have only 7 to cover, including a free suit on the map, so let's bang them out real quick. The suit is a Buccaneer suit, and it's just around the corner from where the satellite is if you were to go up to it and explode it up close and personal with a Molotov, for example. So just take a right instead of going straight into the caves and go around this little crevice area, and right around this little hole in the cave on the side here in this treasure chest is a free Buccaneer / suit disguise. You're probably not going to be using this for too many kills. It's pretty useful for no crest consumed poison or explosive weapon, or loud explosive weapon I should say, for Null Crest. But besides that, you're probably just going to want to stick to the suit that you'll enter the map with if you start suit. But it's definitely good to know where this is. Next up, we got the cook. And the best cook to get on the map by far is the wandering NPC that's kind of acting a little bit sick. He's in the food storage area. Just jump in through the window that I'm showing here. Knock his ass out. You can choose to box him, but it's not important because no one ever comes in this room. Swap disguises, and away you go. That's all there is to it. There's also a free durian that I mentioned earlier in this area as well, so grab that always on the way out because that thing's awesome. There's also a free cook disguise that's just on the beach area, right by where the boat exit is. You're going to need a lockpick to enter this room. You don't want to do this with a crowbar because the NPC that's sitting in front of the next window ahead of you will turn around and rip you if she hears you enter the door with a crowbar. So just lockpick this door, grab the disguise, and away you go. Although I still recommend the NPC over this. Next up, we got the engineer disguise. This disguise is on the opposite side of the beach from where you would grab the cook disguises. So head over to this side of the beach and head to the left, jump over this little area here. This is just below Akka's compound, so you're going to want to wait for this engineer to walk a couple of steps over onto the dock, KO him, and you can just leave him there. Sometimes there are wandering pirates above the area here. It depends on what the situation is. Did they drag a body? Did they pick up a gun? Did they hear some noises? Something like that. So you're going to always want to either trank this guy on the beach or let him walk out to the docks so that none of the wandering pirates see his body. And he's completely safe here. You can just leave him here, swap disguises, and away you go. Next, we have the only hippie disguise on the map, so the only unique disguise, I should say. And it's right where you would start Shrine. There's just a dude chilling right by the tent. He's passed out. You can walk right up to him and trank him. If you start Shrine and grab him right away, it's that simple. Otherwise, you can just climb the vine that I'm showing on screen here on this section of the beach and head up to the shrine area from there and grab him the exact same way. Nothing to it, just need a trank and off you go. Next up is Metalworker, and if you're not going to start Metalworker, which I think is the best starting position on the map, then you have two choices here, one for Akka and one for Crest. Grabbing this free disguise for Akka is the recommended one if you didn't start Metalworker. It's just in the hut right behind where Akka's compound is, and right above the beach, just near the secret ladder that you would unlock for this map in the vicinity. The other metalworker disguise I can recommend is for Crest, and it's a live metalworker, NPC. Just head over here right by the social hub, toss a throwing item over this box right here, and make sure there are no pirates in the area because they will inspect the throw instead of the metalworker, and you don't want that. So lure the metalworker over here, KO him for free, box him, and swap disguises. Away you go. It's great to have both these options available because they work for the targets individually. The Malicious Soldier is kind of an annoying disguise to get, especially if you need it for Crest, but if you need one for Akka, there's the easy one to get that's wandering along the bridge. Of course, you're going to need to wake this guy up if you want to exit RFID, but it's not a huge deal in that sense. Just trank this guy on the bridge, swap disguises, and you can proceed to Akka's compound, and you'll still be able to have enough time to isolate her in her office before she leaves the office. Even though getting this disguise does make it a little bit close for timing in terms of isolating her in her office. And if you need a Malicious Soldier disguise for Crest, then obviously the one I can recommend would be one of the guards that he is constantly walking around with. But if you can't access one of those guys immediately and you need a different Malicious Soldier, then I would say get one of these guys sick that's just hanging out by the social hub. You can just drop a Dory in there or Seeker one of the guys from the bush or anything like that. Knock them out by the porta potty and away you go. Simple as that. Swap disguises and get up. And finally, the best disguise on the map, the Pirate. For Akka, it's super simple. I already showcased a couple of pirates that are pretty much free. Any of the pirates in her compound area that are in the area by the camera box there are good options. I like to grab the guy that's standing right in front of the Smith's door. He's always a viable option. The one patrolling by the shipping containers is fine too. But for Crest, it's a little bit more complicated, somewhat tricky if you need it right away for a Crest kill early on. One of the pirates that's patrolling on the beach that would go and pick up the bomb for the bomb delivery strat that 420 made is very viable. So I would say just do a throw distraction for one of those guys. You can trank him in this area here as soon as he comes around to inspect the throw. Swap disguises and away you go. Simple as that. It's pretty easy for a Crest kill, especially if you get Crest sick. You got plenty of time to get this disguise and get the kill on Crest. Alright, and that does it for the disguises. So only 7 disguises to work with here on this map, like I said, but there's a lot of melee weapons and there's a lot of isolations for the targets, so there's a lot of options here. You don't need to really worry about the lack of disguises because it rarely matters. In fact, if we had more disguises on this map, it might actually hinder the performance of the map when it comes to Roulette, just because of the fact that there's already so much going on. You kind of just want to deal with what's most important instead of having to run around the map and deal with getting these crazy disguises that are super hard to get, like you have to deal with in maps like Santa Fortuna and Sapienza and Miami and all this stuff. You need all these elaborate tools and strats to be able to get certain disguises. With this map, they're pretty straightforward. A lot of them are free, more or less, and you're not going to have a whole hell of a hard time getting each disguise. So each target is a little bit easier to deal with in that sense, but that doesn't make them any less interesting. That's the fun part. So, moving on, we're going to be heading into the spin demonstration. I'm excited for this one. Let's see what we got. All right, and for this spin, we have Noel Crest must be eliminated with a loud explosive weapon dressed as the metalworker, and Akka must be killed with a falling object dressed as the engineer. Pretty interesting spin. Akka falling object is something we haven't talked about. It's probably the only kill we haven't discussed in this entire video for her. So, in fact, it might have been the only kill we haven't discussed in this whole video for both targets. So this is pretty good. I'm happy about this one, and falling object for Akka is pretty fun. I'm opting to start as obviously metalworker here because it's a friggin' epic starting spot. I'm bringing with me a pistol, a crowbar, a loud explosive weapon for Crest, and a serpent's bite. Let's see how we do. Hopefully it's a one and done, but the map's still new and I still suck, so we'll see. Alright, so first things first, we're going to head over and we're going to initiate the peekaboo. This shit is the tits. Man, I just actually recently found out about this friggin' peekaboo lure. I guess I'm late to the party. I don't know. There was a few people in the Discord that told me about it right after I was already deciding to put this video out. I'm like, oh shit, I better include this strat in that bitch, or I'm gonna be a laughing stock in the entire frickin' planet. Nobody will ever let me live this down, even people that don't know anything about Hitman. So, glad that you guys always got my back, except for the times that you don't, but I do appreciate it. Anyways, KO and Akka, we're getting her body over into this room just a little bit. I'm pretty good to go up until about the 54 second mark for this bitch here to be KO'd before his other friend over there sees the body. So, I'm good to go. We got some ragdoll physics going on there. Always pleasant to see that. Love this game. So we're going to shoot out the cameras. Boom. And we're going to beat this guy with a crowbar in the back of the head real quick. So, kick his ass because we are going to we're going to bring Akka over to that spot that we were just at and drag her body underneath a set of some bricks that are above where the light is, which is actually perfect because we're going to be doing the light lure for Crest, considering what kind of kill he's required to be killed as. Excuse me. So, there we go, getting the engineer. Perfect friggin' kill. I mean, you know, perfect friggin' KO. Walked out on the dock a few feet. We're good to go. He should never be found, and if he is, that's weird because I don't remember him being found when I recorded this, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, we are engineer, and we are going to be grabbing our serpent's bite now. It's an awesome frickin' stash spot here, right here at the shipping container in the compound. It's frickin' sick. I would say use this for the majority of stash spot necessities when you're needing an Akka kill and whatnot. Just because you can bring anything there. It's an agency pickup. It's not just a hidden stash. So it's freaking awesome. So here we go. That's a pretty damn good spot to put Akka's body. You'll see where the ground kind of turns grayish, where the gravel is, where the gravel meets the grass. You want to have her body right in front of the gray gravel area. Nice and vertical, so as to increase her hitbox for the bricks. So there we go, triggering the light lure for Crest and shooting the bricks. Now you don't have to walk all the way up here by climbing the ladder to shoot the bricks. You can shoot those bricks from anywhere on the map pretty much. You will need a sniper rifle the further away you get, obviously, but a pistol will do for pretty much anywhere in the compound. You can even shoot them on top of this roof that we're heading over here. If you climb the stairs, jump on top of the roof. Just avoid the whooshes and shoot it on the furthest to its right. When you see the bricks, shoot them at the furthest to their right, and there's this corner above the metal poles that it's being obstructed by, and it's a very small hitbox that you'll be able to hit the bricks with, but it's not that difficult once you get it. You can shoot them from anywhere, but I had to climb the ladder to get up there anyways, so I just shot them from up there. Dropping the serpent's bite, because we're at the 3:30 mark, and the pirates will be there around the 4-minute mark, like I said earlier, to pick that thing up and bring it into the cave. And we got more than enough time to isolate Crest in here, because he takes a sweet-ass time getting from pretty much where the cook was, where he talks to the cook and has a cigarette, to where we are now, it does take quite a little while to get here. So now we are initiating the peekaboo on the pirate here. We're gonna beat his ass with a crowbar again. We like hitting pirates with crowbars in this map. It's pretty sick. Feels good, man. So smack him in the face. Make sure you're crouching for that throw. And I actually prefer to do it like that when Crest is coming that way, because it does delay him a little bit, because he's like, the fuck you throwing that at, bitch? And, you know, gives you a bit of lip. He chirps you a little bit with that beak of his, so... yeah, it slows him down a bit and gives you time to drag the body and put him in the closet. So, deep in the closet, and make that pirate a closeted non-pirate. So now we're going to set up the loud explosive weapon kill for Noel here. This is where he would drink. This is why this is a fantastic spot for consumed poison as well. For Noel Crest, I definitely recommend consumed poison kills be done via the light lure. He drinks the glass on the right if you're facing the glasses, and if you're facing the window out of that room, then he drinks from the right glass. So remember that for Noel Crest poison, consumed poison kills. So now it's just kind of a waiting game. We're just kind of fucking the dog here, because everything's set up. Akka's dead. Crest is set up and about to be dead. We cannot escape via the GPS tracker because it just takes too damn long. I have tried escaping via GPS tracker in the past with a loud explosive weapon kill, and it doesn't work, because fucking Lucas Gray doesn't shut the F up. It's so rough. So I just saw the detonator come back into my inventory. I'm waiting a few seconds because the explosion radius is so big. I don't want to kill the pirate, and we didn't successfully, so we're good to go. Both detonators done, kills done, satellites done, away we go. Exit the boat. Remember to grab that key under that brick from that hut that I showed you just a second ago. That is the boat exit key, and there we go. 543. Silent Assassin. Suit only as a metalworker / engineer. Couldn't have done it better myself. This map is fucking sick, and that spin was a lot of friggin' fun. Hell yeah. Alright, and that does it for Ambrose Island. I can't believe it. We are done with this series as far as I'm concerned. I don't see any future maps coming out. If we do get another map in the future, that would be amazing. I don't see it happening because IO Interactive did say we're getting new maps, plural, but I do think they included the whole freelancer mode, safe house thing in that. We'll see what happens when that comes out. Maybe they'll turn the area that we go in to do the freelancer mode into a map. Who knows? Maybe some kind of cool mission will take place there with DLC in the future. We'll see. As far as that's concerned, I don't see that being the case in the moment here. So this may just be the final map in the trilogy for good this time. And so it is kind of, a bit of a bittersweet ending to this series, because I am going to miss you guys so much as far as the What is Hitman Roulette series goes. But, there's going to be other videos in the future I'm going to be working on for this franchise. I love Hitman so goddamn much, so we're still going to be uploading spins. And I might do a series in the future focusing on kill methods and where certain melee items are located on the maps. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of work. I don't know if it's going to be as much work as the What is Hitman Roulette series was. This is a fuck ton of work. So I'm happy it's over, but at the same time, I'm going to miss it because I really do enjoy making these videos, even though it is a lot of work. But it is what it is. Who knows? Maybe I'll do the kill methods. Maybe I'll do the melee item videos in the future. But for now, I'm just going to just take a breather and just play some roulette spins and have some fun, because I feel like I earned it with these 20 episodes of shit. So I hope this really helps everybody out. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because this series means a lot to me. And now that it's pretty much officially over with no future maps in sight, at this point in time anyways, I'm saying this as of August 2022, so who knows what the future holds. But as of right now, this is the final map in the trilogy, and what a way to go. Fantastic map to end it on. So, IO Interactive, I want to thank you guys again at IO Interactive, because they're fucking awesome dudes, for giving us this great map for fucking free. And I want to thank you guys for watching these videos and supporting the channel and being awesome and being valued members of the community, because we love you. I love you. And except for that one guy over there, you know who you are, you little bitch. And, you guys are the tits. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I'm glad that this series helped out so many people as it seemed to have done. And until next time, this is the last time I'm going to be saying this in this series. Probably for good this time. Keep rocking out and keep gaming.